Hello, everyone. I'm Maria Wellich. I am the marketing director here at the Schweinfurth Art Center, and I am here with Amanda McCavour. She is one of our fantastic artists who are going to be teaching at Quilting by the Lake this summer. She's going to be teaching the second week, and her class, or her workshop rather, is called New York Flora, Machine and Hand Embroidery with Water Soluble Stabilizers. And Amanda is going to tell you about the class and why you should sign up.
So I'm Amanda McCavour, and I am an artist who works primarily with embroidery and water-soluble stabilizers. And I have to say that working with water-soluble stabilizers is a bit like magic. It's something that I work with in most of my work. And what you can do with these water-soluble stabilizers is you can basically stitch into them and start to create networks of thread that overlap. And then when you wash away the stabilizer, like the fabric, you end up with these really lace-like pieces. And I love the way that you can almost treat it like drawing. So in this workshop, we're going to work with a number of water-soluble stabilizers. And I'll show you some tricks that I've learned throughout the years. We'll do a few experiments. Each day we'll kind of try something different with the stabilizers. And I'm hoping that that will help to sort of open up the mysteries of the water soluble, because it can be tricky to work with. The workshop will be using both a sewing machine and hand stitching. And I like that combination because you can do a lot with the sewing machine and then you can do a lot with the hand stitching, and they can really complement each other. And if you're nervous about sewing or using the sewing machine in the workshop, it really is a beginner friendly workshop. So I usually say that if people are wondering what their skill level needs to be, like you can, if you can sew a wobbly line, you're good to come to the class. I do recommend that you make friends with your sewing machine before you come. And then it's also great for people that have been sewing for years, because we'll be using the sewing machine in a really different way. I'm really excited about this class because I've been working a lot in the studio with herbarium specimens, and I'm really starting to get so interested in how indigenous plants can be markers of place. And I think like the summertime is just this ideal time to like think about plants and observe plants. And I'm going to bring a series of herbarium specimen printouts. So this is an herbarium specimen, is basically a pressed flower. And if you can believe it, there's whole archives of these pressed flowers in many places. I think Cornell has a pressed flower inventory, and they're really fascinating because you can get so much detail with them, but they're also kind of like flattened. So we're going to be starting with images like this. We'll also go outside and collect flowers and like use some of those. We'll draw from observation. And if you have images of flowers, or say your garden, if you want to make it more personal that way, you can also bring in images or bring in pressed flowers. So we're just going to kind of look at the range, but I will provide a lot of imagery for people. So you also don't have to feel pressure to bring anything in. So if you can picture it, we'll be looking, this is a milkweed specimen. Great plant. Great plant. And then we'll be interpreting them in different ways. So I have a few samples here to show you. So this is an example of a meadowsweet, I believe. But you can see this is an example of it being embroidered onto water-soluble fabric with like all the detail and the spacing in there. And this is something, if you're picturing like how would you use this, Amanda? What is this for? I pin them on the wall and create compositions on the wall with the different specimens. But this could also be, oh, maybe I should do this. This could also be added to an item of clothing. It can be added to a quilt. It can be really added to any kind of textile art piece. And we'll talk about the potential to, I always want to put things on myself now. We'll talk about the potential of like where these pieces can live. We'll also be experimenting in different color ranges. So this is an example of sort of like a dusky peachy pink, but sort of limiting the color palette to be something that transforms the work. So we'll be thinking a lot about color. And then this is an example of a more wearable piece that you could iron this onto a jean jacket or something like that. And the joy that I get from teaching is basically like we'll share all these ideas together in the classroom. We'll make mistakes, we'll be messy, we'll figure out some magic tricks. And I know that everybody in the class is going to come away with something that's like very much their own thing. And that's really like what excites me about teaching. So if any of this interests you, I would love to see you in the class this summer.
Amanda, that sounds fascinating. And knowing that somebody like me who is a newbie could do it is exciting. Um,
Totally.
Amanda's class is 5 days, Monday through Friday, July 27th to the 31st. And you can sign up right now at quiltingbythelake.com, search for classes, and then you'll find Amanda's, the New York Flora class. So thank you, Amanda, for telling us about your class, and I'm excited to see you this summer.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be fun.